Joe and Scott, going forward on this day that you think that the three dummy idiots ain't listening, they're listening all right. God says it doesn't matter. That's what they like to do is bully, and they'll continue their ways in bullying. It doesn't matter to God, they say. It doesn't matter to them. They're at the job 24/7 trying to bully your kid, or them being or have your kid being bullied, or either way it goes. God said, I tell you, your Father speaks right now on this January 23rd. That's how they did my Jesus. They ignored him. My son. It wasn't until a few years back when it traveled on and it traveled and they went through this record and that record, and from this day they still continue, God said, to go through those records. You have to be ready, God says. It's not a secret. You don't keep it up. The three dummy idiots are at work all the time attacking your kid. Right now as you go on your daily life, you think you're immune, but you're not, God said. It's a world of yours, but in the spirit world, it's God's. And that's what they're looking for. Your Father speaks, I tell you, on this January 23rd. It was a battle. I told my king to hold his videos and hold them and hold them. We'll get back. I was studying, your Father says. All of the network of heaven was studying and see who paid attention and who was passing the word. And no one passed, God said. Can you imagine that, Russia? That you're loved by God and no one passed? Suppose Israel was the one, God said, but they haven't said one thing about bullying. All they do is send missiles off. God says, but my king does. My king does. He sends the messages that they are real and they're true on this January 23rd. He knows. He knows the message of God is real today. And he knows that you're a victim and we're all Adam and Eve's of whispering. Matter of fact, one lady knew it all. She was told before I was, God said. The lies that you hear, she said. The lies that you hear. Those are the three dummy idiots at work until you believe it. That you could get away from stealing, you could get away from bullying, God said, until it becomes a problem for you. I tell you, my God says, I tell you, your Father says, I tell you, this is the word. This is how the three dummy idiots try to trick you, say he ain't real, he's fake. They hear it all. They know it all. They done battle with my adult children all the time. But I tell you, my son doesn't bluff. I taught him not to bluff. And I telling you, he holds a Boy Scout honor. His teacher, Bubba, the leader, taught him not to bluff when it comes to God. And I tell you, he's been holding that in his heart and his mind ever since he took that oath of Boy Scouts. My son, I love you. You go, my son. You go. You go, my son. I tell you that's how they ignore it, but I tell you why they were thinking they were immune. That's when they come around. But when you pray your prayers and when you say and you pass the message, they try to get away so you won't hear them. They want you to think it's fiction. They want you. The best definition that they have is saying it's fiction. He's lying. He's fiction. He's lying. He's fiction. He's lying. It's just a story. No, it's not. God said it's real. Write it down, God said. Write it down and pass the message because your Father says you're in the fight for your children to not be bullied. You're in the fight so your children won't be bullied and be incarcerated because that's what they strive for. For your kids to go older and make sure that they're in jail or 6 feet under, or your children are in a handicapped position that they can't get out so they could